Welcome to This Day in His Story, created by American Heritage Worldwide. A reminder that every day holds something new to learn. Did you know that one small act of kindness can start a friendship that lasts a lifetime? Choosing good friends is one of the most important choices you will ever make. Learn how studies show that helping a friend in need can improve your own happiness and teach you that the greatest gift of friendship is simply just being there.
Okay, let's get into this. I want you to take a second and look at your calendar. You can do it mentally or, pull out your phone if you have to. Flip over to February.
Okay, with you.
Now, I want you to zero in on February 11th. For most of us, that's just a random Tuesday.
Right. Maybe it's the day before you start panicking about Valentine's Day.
Exactly. But according to this stack of research we're diving into, February 11th is actually National Mate-a-Friend Day.
And I can already hear the collective groan. It sounds like one of those made-up holidays.
Exactly. Designed to sell greeting cards or something.
Exactly. But before you roll your eyes, I think we need to pause here. Because when you actually look at the materials we have today, and it's a really interesting stack, this isn't about fluffy, superficial stuff.
Right.
It's actually a prompt. It's a prompt to reevaluate the very infrastructure of our lives.
That is exactly why I wanted to do this deep dive today. We're calling this one The Heart of Friendship.
I like that.
And our mission is pretty straightforward, even if it feels a little daunting. We want to move past the kindergarten version of friendship.
Oh, yeah. We both like the color blue. Let's be best friends.
Right. And explore the actual mechanics of making and keeping meaningful connections in, the adult world.
Which is so much more complex than people give it credit for.
It really is.
We tend to treat friendship like it's magic or something.
Yeah.
But the sources today argue it's actually mechanics.
It is. And to do that, we have this really eclectic mix of sources. We've got a pamphlet called For the Strength of Youth, which has some really interesting advice.
Okay.
We have excerpts on the philosophy of connection, some heavy-hitting biblical accounts, and then on the complete other end of the spectrum, we have an analysis of a video called Strangers in a Ball Pit.
I absolutely love that we have a ball pit and ancient texts in the same deep dive.
I know, right?
But it fits. Because, look, we often treat friendship as something that just happens to us, like the weather.
Yeah, you just walk outside and suddenly you have a friend.
Exactly. But the common thread across all these sources, whether it's the pamphlet or the ball pit, is that friendship is not an accident. It is a deliberate, active pursuit. It's a choice.
And that idea of choice is really the headline of our first source. This comes from that pamphlet I mentioned, For the Strength of Youth. And it starts with a very bold three-word assertion. It just says simply, choices matter.
Right. And it's not just, choices in a general sense, like what to eat for breakfast. It reframes the choice of friends as a proxy for choosing your entire future.
That is such a heavy weight to put on who you sit next to at lunch.
It is.
I mean, are we really deciding our destiny when we decide who to hang out with on a Friday night?
Well, according to this source, yeah. The text specifically links the choice of friends to your spiritual and personal trajectory.
Okay.
Now, to give the full context here for you, this source does come from a religious background. It explicitly states that of all possible choices, the one that matters most is the choice to follow Jesus Christ.
Right. And it describes that path as a joyful way back. And, regardless of where you stand theologically, the text is making this fascinating structural argument about influence.
Yeah.
It's suggesting that choosing friends is really choosing the voices that will surround you. You're not just picking a person, you're picking an atmosphere.
Exactly. And what stands out to me is the specific criteria the pamphlet gives for what makes a good friend.
Okay.
It doesn't say, look for friends who are cool or friends who are wealthy.
Or friends who can get you into the VIP section.
I mean, that is useful, let's be honest.
Very useful.
But not necessarily good for the soul. The text says to look for friends who love learning and who love the truth.
Love learning. I stopped on that one too, because that completely changes the vibe of friendship from just hanging out.
Right, from killing time.
To something much more active.
It creates a feedback loop. That's what's so interesting here. The source says if you choose friends who love learning, it becomes an opportunity to share what you know and learn together. It reframes friendship as an educational and spiritual partnership. You're not just stagnating together, you're building something.
I really like that. It's that idea that you become the average of the people you spend the most time with.
That's so.
If they're learners, you become a learner. If they're seekers of truth, you become one too. If they're cynics.
Well, then you probably become a cynic. And the
Ah.
text adds another layer that I think is crucial.
What's that?
It says to look for friends who seek to help others. So it's not just about what you get from them, the learning, the truth, the fun.
Right.
It's about their orientation toward the world. Are they looking inward at themselves, or are they looking outward to help? That is a massive indicator of the quality of a friendship.
It's almost like a litmus test, isn't it?
Huh.
Watch how your friend treats a stranger. That'll tell you everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we have this high-level theory. Friendship is a choice. It defines our trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
But I can hear the listener right now saying, okay, great, I want that. But how do I actually get it?
Mm-hmm.
Because making friends as an adult is just, it's incredibly awkward.
It is. It's terrifying. We have all this technology that's supposed to connect us, but walking up to a stranger feels more dangerous than ever.
So let's pivot from the theory to the practice.
Yeah.
This is where we get to the strangers in a ball pit source.
Yes. I love this one. It's based on a video experiment, and the premise is exactly what it sounds like.
You take two complete strangers.
Put them in a ball pit filled with thousands of plastic balls and just see what happens.
It's genius because it's the ultimate icebreaker. You
Yeah.
literally cannot take yourself seriously when you are waist deep in plastic balls.
Not at all. It forces you to drop the cool facade immediately. It levels the playing field.
Right.
But the source material asks us to analyze this to answer a really specific question. How did these two people become friends?
Because they did. They connected.
They did. And when you break down the analysis, it reveals two very specific, very simple tactics.
Okay, break them down for us. What are the moves here?
Tactic number 1, asking the other person questions. Tactic number 2, telling them something about yourself.
Wait. That's it. That's the secret sauce. Ask and tell.
It sounds almost insultingly simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We want there to be some complex psychological trick. But think about why it works. The source points out that these two things, asking and telling, are the mechanism of exchange. You ask a question, you signal curiosity, you tell something about yourself, you signal vulnerability.
It's like a game of catch.
Huh.
I throw the ball. That's the question. You catch it and throw it back. That's the answer.
Right.
And you throw a new ball. That's you sharing something. If one person just refuses to throw the ball back, the game is over.
And the ball pit context is so important because it just removes all the pretension. The source says this validates the advice on making new friends. You have to break the ice.
You have to be the one. It's funny because I think we often wait for the other person to be the friend maker.
We do.
We wait to be adopted. We stand on the edge of the metaphorical ball pit just waiting for an invitation.
Yep.
But this source is saying, no, just jump in and ask a question.
Which leads us perfectly to the next major source in our stack. Because if the ball pit gives us the tactic, Ralph Waldo Emerson gives us the golden rule behind it.
Ah, yes. The Emerson quote. The only way to have a friend is to be one.
It's one of those lines that's so famous we almost stop hearing what it actually means.
It's on a coffee mug somewhere for sure.
Oh, definitely. But let's really look at it. The only way to have a friend is to be one. It completely flips the equation of friendship from, like, acquisition to embodiment.
Right. We usually think, I need to go get some friends. Like, I need to go get groceries.
Exactly. It treats friendship as a commodity. But Emerson is arguing it isn't a commodity you acquire, it's a behavior you perform. You don't get a friend, you project friendship outwards, and that attracts connection. You become the magnet.
And the source material gives us a masterclass on how to do this. It connects this quote to a very specific behavior about listening. And this part really hit me.
Okay.
The text says, it's not enough to just ask, how are you?
Right. Which we do all the time. It's a reflex.
Hey, how are you? Good, you. Good. And we keep walking. We aren't asking, we're just greeting. But the source emphasizes waiting for and caring about an answer.
That waiting is the key. In our world, silence is terrifying. We ask the question, but we're already thinking about our own answer or checking our phone.
Oh, totally.
To ask and then to actually hold the space for the answer, that is a radical act of friendship.
It's so rare. Think about the last time someone asked you how you were and then actually stopped, made eye contact, and waited for the real answer.
It's startling.
It is. You think, oh, wait, you actually want to know.
It signals value. It says, your internal state is more important to me than my schedule right now. That is how you be a friend.
So if we're doing this right, choosing wisely, breaking the ice, waiting for answers, we start to build something. And the sources use a lot of different metaphors to describe what that something looks like.
Oh, the imagery in this stack is delightful. It really is. It ranges from like the culinary to the cosmic.
Okay, let's run through them. I want your take on what each one reveals. First up, in the cookie of life, friends are the chocolate chips.
Chuckles. I love this one. It's playful, but it's actually pretty profound. Think about a plain cookie.
Okay.
It's sustenance. It's life. It keeps you alive. But the chocolate chips, they're the bursts of sweetness that make the cookie worth eating. It suggests friendship is the essential flavor of existence.
It's not just about survival, it's about joy.
Exactly. It's about what makes the grind worthwhile.
I love that. Okay, next one, a bit more poetic. Good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but know they're always there.
This one shifts us from joy to permanence, to constancy.
Right.
The idea that friendship doesn't require constant proximity, just knowing the stars are there, provides navigation and comfort. It speaks to the friends you might not talk to for 6 months.
Because life gets crazy.
But, without a doubt, they are in your orbit. You can steer your ship by them.
That is a comforting thought, especially as we get older. Okay, next one. Friends that become family.
Ugh. This blurs the lines of obligation. Family is often seen as the bond you're born with, the one you can't break.
Yeah, it's biological.
But friendship is chosen. When a friend becomes family, it means you've elevated a chosen bond to the level of a permanent biological imperative.
Wow.
It's the highest honor. I didn't have to be related to you, but I'm choosing to be.
And then we have one from the biblical text, Proverbs 27:9. It describes friendship as something that refreshes the soul.
Refreshes the soul. Think about that physical sensation. Being thirsty and drinking cold water. It implies that life depletes us. It's draining, work, stress, all of it. A true friendship is restorative. It puts back in what the world takes out.
It's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And here's where we need to shift gears a bit.
Okay.
The sources also acknowledge that life isn't always cookies and stars. Sometimes life is just brutal.
Yes. And this is where the conversation moves from the Make a Friend Day celebration to the deep, gritty reality of human suffering. Because if friendship is only for the good times, it's not really friendship. It's just entertainment.
And we're talking about the story of Job. For those who don't know, Job is a figure in Scripture who loses everything.
Everything. His health, his wealth, his family. It is the archetype of suffering.
And the source material really highlights the role of his friends in that moment.
And the details here are fascinating. It says that when Job's 3 friends heard of all the evil that was come upon him, they didn't just send a text.
No thoughts and prayers posts.
Right. The text says they came everyone from his own place. They displaced themselves. They left their comfort to enter his chaos.
And it says they made an appointment together.
That part stood out to me.
Me too. Made an appointment. It sounds so formal.
But think about what that implies. It implies coordination. It was organized care.
We need to go do this.
Yes. It wasn't a vague intention. It was a logistics plan. They cleared their schedules.
And their stated goal was to mourn with him and to comfort him. And I think we often skip that mourn with him part. We want to fix it. We want to cheer people up.
We want to offer solutions.
Exactly. But Job's friends, at least initially, came to just sit in the darkness with him.
That is the ultimate test of the refreshing the soul idea. Sometimes refreshing the soul doesn't mean cheering someone up. It just means not letting them be alone in the dark.
The ministry of presence.
Exactly.
So the source poses a question to the reader, and I want to pose it to you, the listener. Have you comforted a friend in need like Job's friends did for him?
It's a confronting question, isn't it? When was the last time you made an appointment to go and just mourn with someone?
Not to fix them, just to be with them.
And the follow-up question in the text is, how does that dynamic help both parties?
There's the reciprocity coming back.
It is. It helps the sufferer because they aren't alone, but it helps the friend because it deepens their capacity for empathy.
Right.
You cannot sit with someone in pain and remain unchanged. It expands your soul.
So we've gone from the playful awkwardness of the ball pit all the way to the depths of despair with Job. That's quite a range.
It is.
But there is one more metaphor in our stack that I think brings this all together in a lighter but very harmonious way.
The music.
Yes. The source material mentions a song about friends, and it gives a specific instruction. It suggests singing it in a round.
Or starting at different times, like row, row, row your boat.
Right. And I love this as a final metaphor for what we've been talking about.
It's perfect, because if you think about a round, everyone is singing the exact same melody, but they're entering at different moments.
They aren't in sync.
But they're in harmony. So what does that tell us about friendship?
It tells us that we don't always have to be at the exact same place in life to create something beautiful together.
Right.
You might be at the beginning of the melody bulletin, new job, new relationship, high energy.
And I might be at the end of the melody, wrapping something up, feeling tired, grieving a loss. But if we keep singing our parts, the layers create a harmony that's richer than just one voice.
That's really nice. Friendship isn't about being identical.
No, it's about layering our lives in a way that fits. And sometimes there's dissonance. In a round, there are moments where the notes clash slightly before they resolve.
That's friendship too.
It is. The conflict, the resolution, the continuous loop of showing up. You just have to keep singing.
So, bringing this all back to February 11th, National Make a Friend Day.
We've covered a lot of ground, ball pits to biblical suffering.
We have. Let's recap the big takeaways for the listener who's thinking, okay, this was great, but what do I actually do with this?
First, remember that friendship is a choice. As the pamphlet said, choices matter. Be intentional.
Second, be the one to break the ice. Be the person in the ball pit. Ask the question. Share something.
Don't wait to be adopted. Jump in.
Yes. And third, practice the art of waiting for the answer. Be the Emersonian friend. Embody the friendship you want by actually listening.
Hold that space.
And finally, be ready to make the appointment. Like Job's friends, be willing to leave your place to go to theirs when things get bad.
That's the real work. That's the heart of it.
The source material actually gives us a specific call to action. It says, make a plan to look for and help a friend in need.
Make a plan. Don't just hope it happens. Put it on the calendar. February 11th. Send the text. Make the call.
It's funny, we started this by saying February 11th is just a Tuesday. But if you actually do this, it could be the day that changes everything for a relationship.
It could be the day you find a star.
It really could. Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
We talked about that stars, metaphor good friends, are like stars. Invisible sometimes, but always there.
It's one of my favorites.
I want to combine that with the ball pit idea. If good friends are invisible stars that are always there, who is currently invisible to you right now? Who's in your periphery? A coworker, a neighbor, someone you see at the gym, who is currently invisible, just waiting for you to ask that first question.
Oh, I like that.
Maybe the star you need isn't far away. Maybe they're just invisible because you haven't turned the light of your curiosity on them yet.
That is a profound question. Who is waiting for you to turn them into a star?
It's the only way to find out.
You have to ask the question. You have to jump in the ball pit.
Thank you all for diving deep with us today. Go make a friend. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us for this day in His story. May the lessons of yesterday inspire you to see God's hand today and to play your part in His story now. For more faith-based learning, visit ahsworldwide.org, the homeschool for faith and family.